And good morning, everybody. I'm Brian K. Morris, and we're going to have a very special edition of Nevermind the Furthermore in just a few minutes. We're waiting for CARA NICOLE, the great cosplayer and writer and comic creator and YouTuber, and everything she touches turns to golder. She'll be joining us soon, and we hope you'll have some good comments for her. And until then, fill her up.
Seconds.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
How dare you!
Welcome to Nevermind the Furthermore, your morning dose of creative conversation and coffee with your host, Brian K. Morris, independent publisher, freelance hybrid author, award-winning playwright, Facebook famous YouTuber, and former mortician's assistant. Get ready to start your day off right.
And good morning, everyone. How the heck are you? Hope you're doing well, whether you're watching us live or on the rerun. Welcome to the show for Wednesday, June 8th, 2022. We've got a few programming notes just to let you know. Friday, I will be out of town. But we will be ably hosted by the one, the only Nicholas Anthony Tockert. Nick Tockert will be taking over the reins here Friday morning, so please tune in and give him some love, okay? Because he sure deserves it. And then tomorrow night, Comic Book Spectrum. I may be on, I may not, but Joe D. McFee is hosting the show tomorrow night. He's part of the regular crew, although we've got to update our branding to reflect that. Darn it, Joe, you're very patient with us. God bless you. So anyway, that's what's going on, and we're going to be making some changes to this program soon. I hope you'll stick around and get real excited when that happens. But like I said, CARA NICOLE will be joining us soon. She has a Kickstarter out right now. It's for the third issue of Fire Bitch, and it's a fantastic comic book. I really love the first two issues. And of course, I'm pledged for the third one, and I hope you do too. And we're going to put up a link for you all so that you all can join in the fun of pledging to this. Let me get this posted here. All right, there we go. All right, now I wanted to get that in there, and here we go for Fire Bitch number 3. Please go to and there. Here we go. All right, now I'm going to copy this because that makes things simpler. All right, and then we go. We're going to share this here, and there's the link. Please go to that and check it out. Kara's a beautiful woman, and she dresses provocatively at times. I know you're surprised. But the thing is, it's a fun comic book, and it's suitable. It's pretty much almost an all ages title. It's very PG-13 at worst. So, and there's a lot of action, a lot of humor in it, and some great characters. So please check it out. All right. So until then, let's get to some of your comments while we're waiting for her. Oh, and one other thing. This Saturday, or excuse me, this Sunday, I will be at the Pulp Fiction Convention in Ohio. Let's see. Did I get a message from someone here? Okay. All right. No problem. She will be here in 1 minute. All right. But I will be at the Pulp Fiction Convention in let's see, trying to call up my graphic here. At the Hilton Clevelake in Westland at 1100 Crocker Road, Westlake, Ohio. And I will be there with some great people like Charles F. Millhouse of Stormgate Press and Jim Beard and John C. Bruning, and who knows who else will be appearing. Please come see us this Saturday. It's from 10 to 5. Admission is $5, and 6 and under can get in free with a paid admission. There's going to be old books. There's going to be new books, which I will be bringing, including the award-winning Snow Shorts with my story, Snow Ambition, in there that I'm excited that you all get to own a copy of. So please check us out this coming Sunday, and we will see you there, and maybe we'll take you on a tour of Calgon. Who knows? So anyway, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Okay, no problem. I'm patient. You know I'm patient. We have Cara in the green room here, making herself even more gorgeous than normal. So if such a thing can be possible. So anyway, we want to say hello to everybody. And today, because we have a guest, please leave comments. And if Cara decides to reply to them, we'll put them on the screen. But otherwise, hello, Nick Tucker. Nick, good morning to you. And thank you, as I have a guest. And let's have that accountability. Carl Witzman. Hope you get to watch us on the rerun. Skunk Rocker, been worried about you. Haven't seen you, man. Hope you're doing well and record your first episode. That's very cool. And good morning to Cool Gamer. Good morning to you. And Ryan, thank you for sharing this. Everyone should like, share, and subscribe. It will make you a better person. And Becky Costello, mwah, good morning. We'll see you at SilCon in September. And don't forget, this is the link to the Fire Bitch campaign. And you're back in a winter there. And Ryan, we're doing well. And definitely, and Eric Hawkins, got to say hello to you, my friend. And we're grateful to you, Ryan. Check out Ryan's links in the comments, all right? He puts on some great programming. And please subscribe to the Nerd Culture channel on YouTube. And, oh, cool, I'm glad that YouTube once again blocked my comment. Hey, anytime, Skunk Rocker, that's why we're here. Skunk, I had to be nice to you and give you a wrench one of these times. We were wrenching people the other day with mad abandon. So, waiting for, okay, we're good. All right. We are privileged. There are, and I have, Skunk, that stuff is off. I may have a cure for it, but let me get, we will work on that later, okay? But I wish I could turn it off too. But anyway, there are very few people, when they say, I want to come on your show, I will like clear the schedule and make sure they get on here. And we have one such person here right now. We've known each other for a few years. I adore this lady. And from your comments, I know you do too. So here she is, the one, the only. Let's see, let's get the right button there. Nicole. How you doing, sweetie?
I'm clearly not up and made up yet. It's 7 o'clock in the morning where I'm at. So it's summer. So here our working hours are usually between like midnight and 5 a.m. We just siesta all day. That's why they do that down there, because it's just too hot to exist.
I'm glad then that we didn't wake you up early for once. You know, that you're staying up late. Right? For us, it's like adults, you know.
Well, it's weird. It's a temperature thing here too. It's so hot.
How hot is it?
It is hot enough to fry your balls on the hood of your car.
Ooh, I better be careful then.
Fry them like an egg. Don't sit down on there. You're like, ah.
Well, I'm glad you told me before I went out today. Now, what is the
temperature? You're going to go out today.
Yeah, I may have use for those one day. You never know.
Those.
Yeah. Somebody else may want to admire them. But anyway, what is the temperature where you're at today?
Right this minute, it is, it says it's 102, but usually when I click on it, it's 85. Okay. So right now it's 85. That's not terrible. But by 5 p.m., it'll be 107.
Yeah, but you don't get much humidity where you're at, right?
You know, everybody says that, but it's 107. You know, there's no humidity in your oven either. Does that make your food less baked? No. And you have to remember that we have a lot of like concrete and a lot of rock and a lot of that sort of stuff. It absorbs everything. Mm-hmm. It's really hilarious. You look and you see dogs with like little booties and stuff, because you will burn their paws. It gets very, very hot on the ground. So yeah, it's like, oh, it's only 110 outside, but then you take your little thermometer and you shoot it towards the concrete. You're like 150, 160. pretty brutal.
Screw that hard. And I was just feeling bad the other day because it was 80 here.
And it's actually cooler right now than it usually is. Like we're usually hitting, we'll hit 115 very easily. Wow. But here's the thing. We were actually 10 degrees hotter than we were like 10 years ago.
Really? I'm
Yes.
I shouldn't be surprised the way this global warming thing is going.
It's not that. I mean, it might be that, but part of it actually has to do with, so, everybody wants a nice yard, right?
Right.
Well, nobody wants those neighbors with the dirt yard because they're trashy. Yes. Well, here's the thing. Do you know how much water it takes to get grass in temperatures like this? It's horrifying. Yeah. And we live in a desert. There is no water. So we have to make it look nice. So we load it up with rock. Rock absorbs heat.
Right.
We're actually making our environment hotter and worse because we're afraid of having our neighbors look trashy.
Now, how is your yard? Now, is it covered in stone or?
My yard actually has grass. Alfred is Mexican, so they're really geared for landscaping.
Oh, okay.
I know, that's terrible.
Send your letters of protest to CARA NICOLE at.
That I'm married to a Mexican. No, he actually really has taken it upon himself to, because the dust and everything comes in. So by having grass and all that down, you don't pick up the dust. You don't bring it into the house.
Right. That makes sense. Now, I don't like mowing my yard. So my wife solved it to a degree.
She does it herself in a bikini?
No, she's helping me now because she's afraid I'm going to have a stroke when I go out now. But no, we laid down a patch of mulch, and that we've got like a little path of mulch going from our automobile to the front door, and it's kind of decorative, and it's just like about a 20 by 4 corridor that I don't have to mow anymore.
See, we're expanding our concrete so we can have more parking spaces.
Ah, okay.
So we're gonna expand our concrete on both sides because you have those little side yards, and it's like, well, this doesn't do anything. So we'll have a place to park our trailer and that sort of thing as well. And we also enclosed our porch and turned it into our warehouse, so we're gonna need a new porch. So we're and that concrete will help fill in space that is not grass. And then at some point we want to put in some decorative bushes and shrubs and all those fun things. But I want to paint the house. Right. So I don't want to put bushes up against the house, that are going to be in the way when we paint. Because they're not going to move it. They're not going to move it to paint.
Of course not.
They're just going to just not paint that area. And it's funny, and people think, people are going to, no. There's like 3 houses in my neighborhood where only the front of the house has been repainted. You can see the sides all look like shit.
Well, everybody assumes it's just where nobody's going to look at the sides. Everybody just looks at the front of the facade of the house. So it makes sense. You
see the side. When you're driving through the neighborhood or walking, you see the side of the house. It looks like crap.
No, the sides are just foreplay. For the glory that is the front of the house. See?
Oh, it's definitely glory hole status. They're real.
And if any of you need any definitions for what Kara's talking about, we will be providing subtitles later. But anyway, and we want to say good morning to Ace Bonnie, who's he's getting off on his rocks or something. Ace, that's nice that you share that with us. So anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you'd taken a bite there. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Just so you all know, Brian and I do this off the air too.
Yeah, we're usually worse in person. It probably would not surprise any of our friends, though.
I'll be like, I'm just gonna go over here now.
Go ahead. But no. Well, it's like I'll tell the story. I remember the story of how we met at C2E2, and you were in your power garage. In fact, the thumbnail for today was from that convention. And the thing was, I was sitting at a table with 3 other friends in Artist Alley, and you came by and struck up a conversation with us. And I'm seeing you're getting eye scratches all over your costume. And then you ask us, well, how do you feel about Power Girl? And my reply was, well, usually I start around her ankles. And that's when we knew we were going to be friends forever.
Yes, absolutely.
One, she didn't slap me or call the security on me, and two, she laughed, so it was all good. So anyway, we have a purpose here. I was checking on your Kickstarter this morning.
We have a purpose here?
Well, yeah, we do have a porpoise, and sometimes Flipper will show up. But anyway, I was checking your Kickstarter this morning, and well done. Now, what you were asking for $2,000, and you've got over 41,000 now. I entered journalism in college, so I wouldn't have to take math. What percentage is that of your goal? That's what, 20 times, like 2,000%?
I don't know. They tell you.
Yeah,
they do tell you.
I see it on here.
Find out.
That's a lot.
It's a something. I don't math good.
Yeah.
Like people are like. People, I'll be like, oh, my prints are 20 each or 3 for 80.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I'm the one who will go for the bargain. They're like $10 a piece or two for 25, that sort of thing. So
I don't, not that I don't math. I just don't want to.
Yeah. I'm with you. It's like, that's why God made calculators. So,
right?
Yes, and Skunk Crocker goes, yay, Kara, it's always a good time when she shows up, as opposed to the usual host, so anyway. But anyway, for the one or two people who may not know, well, should I let you see, oh, here we go, the Broke Jock is going Joker Kara myself. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I was worried for a second you were admitting something here on my show that could leave you liable in court later. So, Karen, do you want to introduce yourself, or are we just going to assume everyone knows who you are?
Well, why don't we let us know what they do know, what they don't know, and what they want to know.
There we go. I think that's only fair because, you are one of my more popular guests. So
we're at 2,053% of our goal.
Wow. That's amazing. Congratulations. Seriously.
Thank
you.
Is
super. And I say full transparency, I am a backer of this project because I absolutely adored the first 2 issues.
Oh, thank you. Tell me what you thought of the first 2 issues then.
Okay. The art was superb. The story, I liked the story quite a bit. It was fun. The exposition was delivered painlessly. I am a big fan of painless exposition.
Are you? Okay.
I am. It's almost a fetish with me. But
well, now we're getting into something else. Tell me.
Yeah. Maybe after the show, darling. But anyway, I've read comics where like they explain the origin like every 4 pages, and it's like and it's the same explanation. How many times can you tell the story? But no, the exposition was really wonderfully written, and you wrote the story.
Well, Alfred and I do it together.
You and Alfred, yeah. And
we do like dueling pianos. We both have our keyboard. We go back and forth. And, yeah.
But it was wonderfully done. It really was. The dialogue flowed. The characters were really fun. I really like Fire Bitch, and I think it's a unique premise for her fire powers. She basically has to become a better person in order to make things happen.
She does. But does she become a better person, or does she just grow in her abilities and that takes her in other directions that are beneficial to her community? And if you caught, how much is her and how much is manipulation of her? And is that manipulation of her indicative of real appreciation and friendship for her and value of her as a person? Or is it done out of desperation and need for this planet's lack of demise?
Right. And that was another thing where you had the great characters, because it was clear that everybody had their own motives for interacting with her. And also, I also like the fact that she didn't have like that sudden transformation into sainthood by halfway through the first issue. You know, that this is
also didn't know how to suddenly fight.
Yes, that's another thing. It's like, that was another thing I meant to say, that she didn't, like, page 5, she doesn't know, what am I doing with my hands on fire? And then page 6, she suddenly has total command of her abilities. No, and I love that. And I love the room you've given yourself to grow with this character and to take it in different directions. You know, thinking like an editor here for a moment.
Yes, love that.
Yeah, it's like, I think by unfolding her story the way you have, it's a good pace. It's good pacing in that I want to turn the next page. I keep wanting to turn the next page, and when I'm done, I want the next issue, which I think a well-written and drawn comic should do. But you've also left yourself enough room to, you know, to maneuver, to change things, to have the character grow, to even have her regress if need be. And everything's happening logically in a, like I said, it's not happening like immediately.
Right.
And we're seeing the development, and we're getting all these interesting characters. And, you know, it's just, seriously, I think it's a great comic book. And I'm not saying it because we're friends, because we also appreciate each other's candor too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so I this is one of my favorite comic books, in all honesty. I really like it a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm really excited that this is doing well, because we need more comic books like this.
So this is issue 3. Mm-hmm. And so by now it's kind of like, how much do you not tell people? So if you missed issue 1 and 2, what we did is we have some really cool things for this one. So first of all, we have a bundle pack that is issue 1, 2, 3 main cover.
Excellent.
And like I said, I don't want to math, so I just gave everyone a special deal on that. But we also did something really cool in issue 1. We had a cover by Mike DeBelfo. I colored it, he drew it, and I love it. And what we did is she was topless in a schoolgirl outfit. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like a little side story. This one cover was its own side story. I mean, it was the normal book inside. But if you look at page, I want to say like 2 or 3 or 4 or something like that, you'll see in the room, there is a tiny little DVD on the dresser, and it has that cover, that Mike DeBelfo cover on
nice.
it. It's a DVD, and if you look at the cover, it says School of Hard Knockers. It is a dirty movie cover. Right? And then you can see in the book, she was in the dirty movie, and she's with a person who owned this dirty movie.
Nice.
And it talks about her being, if you look at the cover, it says she's at Breakout Stars. It's got her name. And this looks like a dirty movie cover. Well, we brought it back. But it's still issue 1, right? Because it would be the same one.
Sure.
But we bumped it up. We have a virgin cover with no words on it, but we also have a 3D cover.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Like 3D glasses, 3D cover.
Totally,
and it comes with its own pair of glasses. Yeah. And the whole book's not 3D, but this cover is 3D. And the words don't say, you know, Breakout Stars. Now it says Comeback Queen. And now they're advertising on her as Fire Bitch.
Nice.
But it's now in 3D because that's the kind of ridiculous shit that we do. You know, I mean, it's so funny. These people are like, oh, you should do a live action Fire Bitch. I'm like, no, she's the only human being.
Right.
It's all aliens. I think it'd make a great animated series, but all these little fun things. So you can get issue 1 with a Mike DeBelfo cover in 3D, or not in 3D if you just want the virgin. But you know, Alfred did a little touching up on the colors. We wanted to bump it a little bit, but yeah, I mean, it's a 3D cover. Like, it's ridiculous. I don't know. Some people are like, you did that? I don't care. But it was fun. But we also did some 3D stretch goals. So everybody gets a little bit of 3D. Everybody gets a little bit of it.
Nice.
We've got the 3D stretch goals that will come with the glasses as well. So you get it in your stretch goal pack, but if you get that book, you'd also get it there. And then we also have a special issue 2 that we did for the campaign with Anastasia Still Smoking and someone else, I can't remember his name. So just these extra fun things. So there's an extra issue 1 and 2 that are new covers for this. There's the originals. There's tons of new artists on this campaign, but we also brought back like Steph Wilson and Wendy Shaner. Now they're working as a team on Luna Tales and a lot of other things. So I did what I called the Brat Pack. So you get their covers together in a really affordable bundle. So that's like 4 books, you know, super great price, but everything is available as an add-on. So
Nice.
it's a little weird. I don't know if you're pulling up the campaign or not, but
It just so happens I have it. I haven't pulled it up yet though. So here we go. I was waiting for the opportune moment. Here we go. All right, there we go. All right, making sure the sound's on and coming back here, talking out loud so you know I'm professional. There we go.
That's right.
You want to shall we run the video?
If you'd like, go for it.
Of course I would like. Goodness, gosh almighty, yes. And
Welcome. I am CARA NICOLE, and this is Fire Bitch 3. Thanks for checking out the campaign. We have a fantastic Fire Bitch book with all the bonus swag you know and love. Action, drama, excitement. Our badass babe fights an intergalactic war with a world in the balance. You will love the art and the story. We have some exclusive variant covers by us, as well as some smoking guest artists, red hot add-ons, special tiers, and sparkling stretch goals. And the cosplay! Woo! Get excited! You're not gonna want to miss this fiery campaign we lovingly put together just for you.
all right, most excellent. Let's move that. All right, there we go. Sorry about any sort of lagging there, but that was awesome. I wish you'd just work up a little enthusiasm for it is all, you know? Yeah, just a little. No, that was super.
Thank you.
Very well
So I don't know where we are. But we did something really cool with this, and it's something I started with the card campaign. And it's a build your own. Because there's always like, oh, but I want this bundle. Oh, but what about that book? What about that book? So what you do is this is a build your own bundle. You pay for shipping. And then you add on whatever you want. Now, because your package is getting bigger, it's very, very minimal. Like it's like $1 additional for your book, you know, or a print or whatever. And you just build whatever you want. You can create your own tier.
Yeah.
So that way we had more ability to have those add-ons because sometimes it's like, well, if you have this bundle that has all these things in it, well, I might not want those ones. I might want these over here. So just create your own.
Yeah. I like that. I've come to appreciate that greatly because, you know, like you said, I may want like something a little further down the list, but I may not want everything that goes with it. So no, that makes perfect sense. So.
But now you can just build whatever you want.
Yeah, very cool.
So we would do some fun things like that.
Yeah. And folks, if you go there right now, and we're gonna put that back up here right now, check out the links there, and there we go. Please check out that link there. We've you should be able to reach it on YouTube and on Facebook, and but anyway, check that out, please. It's going to be a great, and of course, Ace says that we are only 7 backers away from 469. Actually, we are now 6 backers away. So thank you to whoever has pledged for this, and get on board the train here, please. And it would be kind of fun if we got up to 469 because we are. But anyway, so that would be cool. And even $1 will help out. Okay. So please support this young lady. Now, what is your mental state right now? Because you've got 58 hours to go and you've made your goal and then some.
So the thing is, the goal isn't really the goal. If you look at our campaign with a $2,000 goal, and you look at some other campaigns, they'll have $2,000 goals too. But we have over 40 covers. We have an art book, a cosplay book. We've met a challenge coin as one of our stretch goals. You know, we have a lot of different artists. We've got variant covers coming out the wazoo. We've got mystery covers. We've got special gold covers. We've got so much stuff. We've got a VIP that there's actually a little video on there that there's a cover that only comes with the VIP. And it's got VIP actually embedded in the foil. So as you turn it, you see this. And you can only get it as a VIP or a producer. So we've got all of these super cool things. We've got cosplay. We've got the cosplay book. We've got the art book. So when you ask yourself, like, oh, you met your goal, it's a day's work, literally, for every single page of a book. And our books are usually 32 to 36 pages versus someone's 20 to 22 page comic with 5 variant covers.
Right.
So I'll tell you right now, it costs us we already spent more than $2,000 just on the art.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So, and that's the art and that's not even counting things we've done for ourselves. That's not counting the interiors or anything. That's just counting the pieces that we currently have up there.
Right.
So my thing is, when people ask me about how much do I put in for my campaign, and they're like, I haven't funded yet. And it's like, well, did you really need $2,000? Did you compare this apples to apples? Because first of all, if you're not willing to put your money where your mouth is, why would anyone else?
Right.
So we go into every campaign as a risk.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if you're going to make what you actually already put out for the campaign. You don't know. I mean, your campaign can be pulled off tomorrow because they decided that they don't like you. And then you're out. So you got to figure something else out. So when people say, you know, okay, how do I do this? And they say, okay, should I do this goal? So here's the thing. You've already spent $3,500. If $2,000 is your goal and you don't fund because maybe it's your first book or whatever,
right.
What are you going to do? Right. You already spent the money. You already did it. Right. So let people know that you're doing this because you believe in it. And if you don't believe in you, why would anybody else?
Exactly. Yeah. And also the point you pointed out that, you know, your books are like 32 plus pages. And if I remember correctly, like in the first couple Fire Bitches, you know, you had like a couple of ads for other books that you were doing. Okay.
Yes.
But you pick up something from one of the larger companies, the entire comic package is going to be 32 pages plus a cover usually, and sometimes not even that. And even then, about a quarter of it is going to be house ads, if nothing else. So you're getting like 32 pages plus of entertainment, not just pieces of paper. So just something else to consider.
How we are, you know what we do.
Oh, yeah.
You know the ridiculousness that it's ridiculous. We do ridiculous things. You know, and I just can't help it. It's always this look. And everyone looks at me, oh crap, she's got an idea. This is gonna be bad. How much is it gonna hurt me? So yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, that's, and I find those moments beguiling when you know the gears start turning, the smoke starts erupting, and
you know that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and that's the thing I've said about art. It should always make people nervous. You know, either
I love that art should always make people nervous. Yeah, that is legit. Very, very so true. So true.
I also
absolutely.
And I like another quote I heard years ago that it should comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable.
You need to like make all these T-shirts.
I've got a platitude for every occasion. What can I tell you?
And you change that to I've got a platypus for every occasion.
I do. And I've got some of the film of it, but that's only on my OnlyFans account. So that's all right.
Oh, so go find onlyfans.com/Brian K. Morris and tip him good for that.
There we go. I should just open one up and just be like, you know, just me just sitting here, you know, doing nothing, you know, nothing provocative or anything. See if I could get somebody to like.
You should absolutely. but you need to make it weird. Make it real weird. You know, like send pictures of your feet.
I don't doubt it.
Send pictures of your belly button.
There
With, like
we
your
go.
finger right next to it. Just weird shit.
That's the sort of thing I can see myself doing this. I may have to hire you as my agent or something. So, I could just, see like, around the belly button sort of thing. And I probably would clean up with that sort of thing,
You might. So one of the things I love about your show is you have readers and writers, people who read, people who write. And I love talking about that sort of stuff because if you don't enjoy the process, are you really writing something that you enjoy, something you believe in? Now, you read Fire Bitch. You also read Unstable Frequencies, right?
Yes. I've been reading and rereading it. That is a wonderful little horror book, actually. And again, like I was saying at the top of the show, people might go through your Kickstarter campaign, and yes, you are provocatively dressed. Yes, there are sometimes you are bereft of foundation garments, shall we say? But
Foundation garments. I love that.
Write that down, hon. Write that down. But anyway, but the thing is, and people may get, and I'm sure, we've discussed this before, that people may, how shall I say it? Prejudge you.
They do.
Prejudge your character, and think that you're some sort of fallen woman or something. Whereas, I've said openly, you're gorgeous, but I love your mind because it's a dangerous thing.
My mind is dirtier than my body.
Hi, folks. We're going to the after show now. Anyway. But no, you know what I'm saying. It's like I hope people may look at that and think your comic books are basically a pornographic romp.
They think there's
and the thing is, Fire Bitch, you can read it. You can leave it on the table, and if a 13-year-old,
it's a PG-13. I would say it's like a PG-13. Yeah.
Exactly. And same with Unstable Frequencies. It's well written, beautifully drawn, and you don't have to worry about somebody calling the cops about it. So I actually last night in my my Tuesday night group, I'd asked if anyone had read it because the digital of Unstable Frequencies went out, but the actual physical book is at the printer right now, and there's 4 stories in it, and then there's additional stories. There's the goddess. There's little short stories at the end, and I asked, I was like, so what's your favorite story? And someone said Ruth, and I was like, wow, because that was such a hard emotional roller coaster to write. Yeah.
And it's interesting because people that read Fire Bitch is the story of a social media influencer who ends up with superpowers on an alien planet. It's colorful. It's ridiculous. There's tons of fire. She's kind of dippy. Yeah. It's action. It's adventure. But Unstable Frequencies is like Tales from the Crypt. It's a very different side of the spectrum. And I think when you do that, Grant came in, he decided to stay home to work on his comic. Good. The writing aspect is so amazing. It really, really is. Brian, you're a writer too. And those things where you have to get out of your own way and let yourself try something new. Let yourself write a horror book. And Unstable Frequencies is not gore.
Right.
There's a few little like gory pieces, but it's not a heavy gore reliant book.
It's not a Toby Hooper movie. It's not Grand Guignol, if anyone's looking for that. It's not
Toxic Avenger or The Thingy.
Yeah.
It's not
it's if anything, it's a lot more cerebral than what passes for horror these days. And Ace Bonnie says it'd be funny as a cover. Don't judge a book by its cover.
So I'm glad you brought that up. And a lot of variant covers, when they do books, they go in every direction, right? They'll just do anything.
Right.
You know, I'll just like, you know, here's a piece of cheese. We're putting it on a book. They don't care. And we try to have some direction with these. So in issue 1, she asked for a Pikachu onesie. And in issue 2, she is wearing a Pikachu onesie. And in issue 3, there is a cover that is a cosplay cover of her in a Pikachu onesie. And unfortunately, my one friend who had shared that cover got popped by Facebook because it shows my butt.
Yes.
Because
I compliment you on that cover.
I'm in the Pikachu onesie, and like, you know how the butt opens up so you can use the restroom in your onesie, and so the butt is open.
It's got a trap door.
I've got the trap door, but like the butt is really cute. It's so cute. But
it was a beautiful
try
color.
to keep with that continuity. Issue 1, we had a homage cover, Pat Benatar's Get Nervous, where she's in a straitjacket.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And in issue 1, there's one point where they put her in her room and then they close bars as if it's like a cell. Ooh. You know, you see, we're going in these directions. Issue 2, we had Girls Just Want to Have Fun because she was more learning with her friend and having these fun things. So yeah, we really try to keep it, you know, going. We had a homage cover this time of Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
Because she wants to go home.
Right.
We also have a Power Girl issue 1 homage that's doing very, very well.
Good.
And so we've got all of these different fun things that go along with it. We have her as a mermaid. And that was an April Reina cover that we made a mystery cover for the art book. So we have so many different directions with this story, because all stories should go in multiple directions. There's more than just this one thing happened. There's your B story. There's your side stories. There's all these people.
Yeah. Exactly. And I'm looking here now. Did we have we had stretch goals?
Did you want to put this up so they can see it too?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that thing. Why should I have all the fun? There we go. All right, and then we'll put us down here so you can make commentary and people can see you. Now remember, folks, don't miss out, okay? And we're still at 6 more pledge. We still need 6 more backers. Make this happen, please. But anyway, here's some of the covers.
So that's the main cover, and it's a wraparound cover, so it's a full open it up. And Alfred drew that, and it basically embodies. That cover is issue 2, is issue 3. So if you're going to judge a book by its cover, that's the one to judge it by. That is the book.
There you go.
It has everything in there.
And there is a music video by CARA. And I got to say, you know, it shouldn't surprise me that you are a very, very talented singer, too. So
thank you.
Kudos for that. And then, like we said, or you said earlier, you'll build your own customized
Put whatever
tier.
you want in there. Yeah.
Yeah. You want it, you can get it. There we go. And it includes stretch goal, pack, and digital.
Yes, absolutely. You could also just buy the digital. Now, this is the DeBalfo.
Yeah.
The now in 3D, the Comeback Queen. But you can also get it in Virgin as well.
Right.
We have a trucker. You can get a trucker hat. You can get a T-shirt. Super cool right there. Those are available. And our fire guy. I love our fire guy. He's the best.
I love the 3D glasses on him. That is awesome.
Yeah. So this is a new tier that we just opened up. It's a new bundle, and it's got the Campbell homage as well as the sneak peek. And I call this the Silver Fire bundle because it's got a Silver Age feel.
Yeah,
you know,
very much so. Very much so.
And Alfred Trujillo did those covers, and we love our homage covers. So you know, this is the bundle pack with the 3 issues, issue 1, 2, 3 of the main cover for all 3 of those.
Right.
And then we've got, of course, cosplay covers. That's the main cosplay cover. And I do model for those. Oh, that one is Tevin. Tevin painted that. It's doing really, really well. It's gorgeous. That's so pretty.
It is nice. Very.
And I did
good.
have photos of me on a throne, but unfortunately everyone was blurry.
Okay.
That's the Fire Bitch color, the Fire Bitch cover by Kilbiro. He's fantastic. I love the way it turned out. It's gorgeous.
That is
So
nice.
gorgeous.
And
So this one is Leo Matos. This is a new tier that just came up. I colored those and I actually modeled for that. That was taken from one of my photos.
cool.
And except my hair was up, and he did that, and then I did the colors on it. So that is the only book that is an issue 3 that has my colors on the cover.
Okay.
I do the interior. And there's the Pikachu.
Yeah, it's peeking at me all right. That's for sure.
I love what you did there. And then the lingerie, of course. We always have,
and
somewhere to go with that.
Right, and I'm glad you pointed that out for the slow among us. So
People know.
yeah, I appreciate that.
And this one, I was like looking at that. I was like, damn, that's good. How'd you do that? I had no idea I made that face like that. It just really worked out.
That's priceless.
Isn't it? It's really cute. I love it.
That's hilarious. And one thing I do want to stress, correct me if I'm wrong, but it rarely happens. When there will be times, since we still have time to go in the campaign, you can go in and change your pledge amount to get these things added to your pledge, correct?
And there's a video at the bottom that tells you how to do it as well. Because when I was trying to change my pledge on someone else's campaign because I wanted to add something on, I was like, wait, I can't change it. You basically have to accept the tier that you have or choose a new tier.
Right.
So it's almost like starting over, but it will remember everything that you had previously. And I didn't know that. It will remember it. So this is the main cover of the art book. So you can get the art book with Alfred's painting right there.
Very cool. And Bootylicious, and the Federal Trade Commission makes her do the truth in advertising thing. So
it does. So this is Trevor Grace. And this has headwind colors, and man, I want to put them together so much. I love this. This is so cool. Trevor did the Straight Jacket cover from Unstable as well. I love working with Trevor. Like, he just nails it every time. When you have those artists that are like, I love you so much. You gave me everything I wanted in my life. And these together is like, it's like getting to have a threesome with art.
There you go. There we go. And I'm stopping. Anyway, luxury level.
Yes, it's a Star Wars homage.
There you go. And Tantalizing Temptress, very nice.
So this is Queen Corona, who was introduced in the last issue, if you recall.
Right.
And remember how I said that we like to have what's on the cover be indicative of what's in the book. So remember those things.
Yeah, and you get these covers now because you never know, they may show up in issue 4.
Right. So this is the Yuri cover, and this is just so gorgeous. I'm like, I love you so much. Just incredible.
That is very cool. And we got a smoking deal. Our friend Steph Wilson.
It's Steph Wilson and Wendy Shaner. So this is our Brat Pack, and this is you get the 4 of them. And we know their work, and this tier is $69.
How fitting.
I know, right? And all those little furry guys, those guys are called Agromantis, and they were introduced in the last issue as well.
Nice.
But I love that there's such different styles in their art, so I had to put them together. This is So this is your, like, I don't really want topless, but I want that sexy stuff. So I put like a nice little package together. It's got a cosplay. It's got my colored piece from Leo Machos. It's got a couple of Alfred paintings, the Leia and the Skintalicious, and the I think I said that wrong. And then scintillation, that's what it was. And then, which is a word. It is a word. I was like, Alfred's like, that's a word. I was like, yeah, right. Isn't that awesome? I found that. And then we've got a Jim Leonard in a lovely little negligee. So it's a nice, sweet.
Yeah, this is the level when you want to read these issues in church, okay? And you don't want to get in trouble. So, and then the Cosplay Overload.
Cosplay Overload. So this, you get the Fire Bitch cosplay books. You get the cosplay art books, both of them. And you get the 4 11x17 prints. So this is a really super, super good deal, a super good price to get everything cosplay from the set. Now this is our spicy set. You get 10 books, and these are the 10. And we went in a lot of different directions. You got the crema art with the fire wings, the Bootylicious from Trevor Harris. Every single one of these is topless. The Queen Corona. You've got Queen Corona with Fire Bitch, the Yuri, the Daxina swag. I mean, you know, it just, I love these pieces. The Jose Varese with her bondaged up.
Very, very nice.
And then we've got, after that is the VIP.
Yes. 30 covers. Holy cats. What is, you're crazy, Kara. Crazy.
You get over 30 covers. You get a trucker hat. You get the VIP book. You get the cosplay. You get the main cover of the Fire art book. You get the main cover of the Fire cosplay book.
Fantastic.
So yeah, that's, and then this is, if you look at it, you see how those VIPs are in there. They're actually embedded into the foil. Oh. So it's a really cool, yeah, it's like a 10-second video that shows you what it would look like. And the music for that is actually part of our song Ashes that came in the issue 2 CD stretch goal. Issue 2 did come with a CD, and that CD, I believe, is available as an add-on as well. So that was from our song Ashes. So, nice. And then the add-on section, expansion goal. So this is what we call an expansion goal. So this means when you hit a certain point, this book now opens up. It's a specialty foil. Producers get it free, and it is the Decilio Costa with, I colored it first, and then Alfred went and colored it over mine because I just couldn't get what I wanted out of it. And I was like, you know what? Take it, do what you do.
Well done.
Yeah, and then we've got the add-ons. Issue 1, 2, the Carlos Rodrigo, the January Embers, and then the Prince, and there are so many I need books. So the issue 3 books start right here. You got the cosplay, the Alfred Trujillo set, the original main cover, the provocative sweet and spicy. We do sweet and spicy because if you use the word naughty, nice, or kinky or whatever, then Facebook hates me and will like get rid of my stuff.
Well, curse you, Facebook.
Yeah, right. The David Alexandru, though, the No Place Like Home, that one was its own tier for a while, and it timed out. It's like, okay, this one's done. The Cami Kimmy, I love Cami Kimmy. Go support her work. She's an up-and-comer. I believe this girl is definitely going to be, she's going to be something special one day. So I'm glad we got her on while she was new and cheap.
We like it cheap.
Oh, I do. Cheap and dirty. But no, I referred Cami to a lot of people. She's really wonderful to work with and just a lovely person. So the Toshnik, Tinder Sparks, love that set as well. There's just so many. The Nictonic, where you have Queen Corona and Fire Bitch. The Varese, all tied up, sweet and spicy. It's just so much. Like, I just am in love with all of these pieces. The Jen Leonard. We've got her in her suit. We've got her in the dress. Or the negligee, and then the Yuri, it's just there to randomly be like, hey, how you doing, girl? What's up?
Make sure you're all paying attention.
So the Terry Parr is a really good classic style piece as well. And I might make another adjustment to something. I'm always putting new things up, so definitely stay tuned for things that I might do with that. The Daxina was a tier for a week, so you could get it at a special price for a week. The Freitas, the hotspot, very cute. We have the Nap White Heat, which is it's the 3D rendered as well. So now it's not just Wendy. We've got another 3D rendering for you 3D rendering people. The trucker hat, the T-shirt. And then it goes into the cosplay book. So we've got 2 covers of the cosplay book, which is Fire Bitch Cosplay. And then we've got the Fire Art book, which is up there and available in a couple of the tiers. But now we have a mystery pack, right? So you are guaranteed one of these topless covers, because I didn't want people to be like, well, I wanted a topless cover, I didn't get one. So you can get the basic one, not topless, or you can get the mystery topless cover. Now, only 50 of these are going to be made, and 2 of each are going to be in gold and as like a bonus. So you might get a gold one. You might get one of 2 of, one of these covers. There's only 8 covers total that are going to be gold. We've got April Reina in that. The one where she's coming out of the water, that's Alfred Lay. And I saw him post that. It was just something he did to just as a study. And I was like, I want that piece. And so we added the headband and changed up some of the colors. But I own the original of that because I wanted it because it's pretty. And I like Alfred Lay. So yeah, there's a video down there at the bottom that tells you how to change your pledge or add on something if you wanted to add something onto your pledge as well. And then after that, we get into stretch goals. So we've hit the birthday card. Why a birthday card? Because we launched on my birthday.
Nice.
You get a 3D mini print. We hit that one. So you get the 3D glasses. The Fire Guide magnet. We've got a lot of those stickers. Now you're going to have them in a magnet. The Fire Beth from Rick and Morty, right?
Yeah.
And then the Ralph the Fire Guy card. The bookmark. I really love the art on that bookmark. The Cami Kimmy trading card. I wanted Terry Parr's. There's a different coloring one on that as a magnet because I just love that pounding into the ground. It's incredible. Cool. The Bitch in 3D postcard. The Fire Bitch cosplay pool card. The mermaid is April Reina, and the Perio holofoil sticker. That is the image that got many shows kicked off of YouTube.
and we're next.
Right? Well, they were putting it up as far as like to advertise the book, and they were getting pulled because it's a painting.
Yeah.
But we hit the challenge coin.
And there it is.
Yep, there it is. I'm so excited.
Very cool. Very.
I have to do a Kickstarter so I can get a challenge coin in my own stuff, okay? Because I can't just go buy one. But yes, we did hit the challenge coin. And then if you keep going, we keep going. We got a few more.
Oh my goodness!
This sticker is so cute.
That is adorable.
I love that one so much. A mini print, and the Cha Cha trading card were up there. But the printable fire mask. Do you remember in issue 2? When they were in the arena, they were in the stadium, and everyone was in the stands, and they were wearing that mask.
Yes.
And Alfred said, can we make it? Can we get this mask and have it be a stretch goal? And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, that's going to happen, right? I want to actually print one out today. But then to try to find a manufacturer this day and age and type in the word mask. You're not going to find anything other than COVID masks. So we made it a printable mask. You can print as many as you want. Print them all out. Use them for your kid's birthday party. Have a fire bitchin' birthday.
There you go.
A die-cut sticker at 47, the 2x6-inch bumper sticker, and the oversized card.
There we go.
So this card, this is where I love messing with you guys. This is the CARA of Hearts. And it is an oversized playing card. If you recall, last year I did a campaign called 52 Card Pinup, and it was a poker deck.
Yes.
And there were 3 cards: the spades, the clubs, and the diamonds for oversized cards of the CARA cards that were met.
Right.
But no hearts. So you want that heart? You got to come over to this campaign to finish your set from the 52 Card Pinup campaign, because I'm a jerk like that.
Very cool.
Yes, print your mask on cardstock.
Yes. And then
music
video?
Because, you'd be done with your one song by now, so now you got another one to go on to.
There you go. Get CARA stuck in your head. And then that's it, right?
That's it.
Wow. What a selection. If you can't find something on this list, I don't know what's wrong with you. I'm telling you.
Right? It's a lot.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. And that's another thing. I remember I was on my way out when I finally got my package for Fire Bitch 1 and 2 for that campaign. And I got the mailer, and I had to go out of town. So I just stuck it in my suitcase and thought, well, I'm going to a motel. I'm going to open it up tomorrow night. It was like freaking Christmas. Opening that thing up, and it was like, oh, it's like
you got my package and you took it to a hotel.
I did, and I didn't tell anyone. I waited till we were alone, and then I went through your package, darling, and the glories I saw within. Every time I put my fingers in, something wonderful came out. You know what I'm saying? Just one after another, multiple times.
Terrible. Oh, you're awful. This is why you can't take us anywhere.
I know it, exactly. And this is probably why our spouses probably get nervous every time you and I get together.
Yes, and this is why we're sequestered into our own rooms, which I love that your background is a gradient that blends your background and my background. See, you've got like the whiter, and then it goes to the cream, and then I've got the pink, and it goes to the pink, and then it matches my water bottle. It's like you planned this. It's like you know me.
Yeah, exactly. I do. I try to take care of you. So
I appreciate that.
So let's get back to I'm going to check out the top here, and folks, please contribute to this campaign. It's like I keep stressing the fact that campaigns like this, she's made her goal, and she still has time for you to climb on there. And we're still at $41,110 with 463 backers, 57 hours to go. So there's plenty of time to get on CARA's campaign. And I'm going to put that address up.
I want to make sure that everybody's going to be able to get good stuff. You know, a lot of times it's like, we got like a sticker or whatever. Stretch goals are great, but I want to be able to really make sure that you get an experience. I mean, we put music videos out. Like I said, a CD came with the last book, and a CD's coming with Unstable Frequencies, by the way. And if you got Unstable Frequencies, then you also got the digital download of the music. Like, we really, really want to give it to you. We even put out a music video for one of the songs that's on Unstable Frequencies, and we have more coming. So we really, when you get into our universe and our world, we don't just give you a book here and there. We don't just give you a book even regularly. We do regularly, but we want you to have an interactive experience. Issue 1 was where I really thought, hey, it'd be cool, a soundtrack, but I wanted it to line up with the story. So I went and I started looking up songs that were indicative of the scenes at the time in the book. And if you have the soundtrack to issue 1, it's just a Spotify list, but it's in order, and it tells you what pages on it was in the email. Like, it tells you what pages the songs line up at. So the song that goes with the page or sections of page. Yeah, and that's how we ended up putting out a soundtrack. And I mean, it just turned into like, who's got a CD player?
Who needs those anymore?
So now what we did with the new CD is there's a QR code on it. And that QR code takes you to a website where you can get the Spotify, the Apple, whatever, and you can go from there to get it. But you can also burn it onto your computer if you have a CD thing. It's really more of a collector's item. Or if you are someone like me and believes that new cars are a waste of money, you probably have a CD player in your car.
Right. There we go. Well, you want to take the music with you wherever you go.
I want it to be your CD player, and it's the only thing you're ever going to hear for the rest of your life.
There we go. And we've got some more comments. I want to say hello to some people. Silver Ogre, good morning. Good morning to you. Ace Bonnie says, as a previous backer, the art and writing is great, and the craftsmanship of the books, the stretch goals are awesome. I second that emotion. Very, very true. And Will May Bova, good morning to you. Mwah, and a special hello to guest CARA Nicole. Glad to see you. Angie Dudas, good to see you as always. And Mark Holmes says, print your mask out with stiff paper. Have a flash mob. There you go.
Right, that would be great. Maybe I need to print a whole bunch of them out for a convention.
Yes.
And have everybody wear them. That could be a lot of fun. Hey, Alfred popped in for me.
Sorry about that.
What do you think? Do you think we ought to print out a bunch of these masks and maybe at a convention or whatever, get everybody to wear them and, get a picture? You're like, me as Fire Bitch and everybody in the mask?
Hell yeah.
And you have everybody sit in a way, you reserve a section so that they can sit, and when you look at it from above and they turn their faces up, it is the Fire Bitch logo.
Oh, well, we can make that happen. I'm thinking, I think I have a panel coming up for the Casper convention. So that might be fun to do for that, get everyone to, and kind of recreate the scene from issue 2.
There you go.
Because that's what we do. And we also I did live readings. We also have some videos coming where I'm in the costume live reading the book, and we're having the comic actually put in through the background. So we have a mess of ridiculousness. If you look at the music videos, they are very story-based.
Yeah.
Our songs are very story-based.
They are, yeah. They're very good.
Although it's really hard with Fire Goes On because I want to cry. It's really hard for me to sing it live. I just want to cry. I'm like, because that song could be about anything and any relationship. And it's about two people who end up, it's not necessarily like love story. This is actually the story of Fire Bitch and Taco, her best friend, who, becomes her whole world on this new planet. And this song is about their relationship. And, this song could be about your relationship with your dog. It could be about anything that you might have like a meaningful bond with someone that even when you're not going to be with them, you are still with them, kind of a situation.
Yeah. And Ace Bonnie says to me, I told Kara she needs as a stretch goal for number 4 is an audiobook read by Kara. And I was Ace, you and I are on the same page. Seek help immediately. I was going to ask you, have you thought about doing like an audiobook of the Fire Bitch?
Yes. We are talking about, so issues 1 through 3 are a story arc. So issue 3 right now, this is the completion of the Sky Blazing story arc. Sky Blazing is the name of this story arc. So yes, and we are working on that. Issue 3 has to be completed, but yeah, an audiobook. We are discussing how we can best do that, but this is us. We're not just going to read the book into a recording. No, we're going to go all out, and we're going to bring it. We always do. And I don't want to tell Morning Max, I don't want to tell too much, but we're going with more of a cast option rather than just me reading it. I mean, we have me reading it issue 1 and 2. Like I said, those videos are being made, and that's going to be more like your comic in the background. That was all green screen, but for the 1 through 3, we do have plans for that coming.
Very cool. Now you've been showing that each. I like that. There's another project for you with Unstable Frequencies. That's the one you do it with,
right?
Yeah.
That's hard though. So Unstable Frequencies. JT Malloy drew the story for Ruth, and he said I saw him post. Like he would post little snippets, and I loved it because one of the things he did is he would like draw a word balloon and write his own like dialogue, and it was always amazing and hilarious. And I'm like, I need to hit him up because I want those originals that have that dialogue. Like I will buy these originals. I want that.
Yeah.
But I want the dialogue in there that he wrote. Anyway, so he had stated that if this story had been sent to him to draw, he would not have done it if it had been written by a man.
Really?
And because of that, we had a talk, and I was like, I really was opened up because as a woman, I don't know what you men feel. I don't know what you feel about our situations because we all have a feeling about or a thought about things that happen in other people's lives that may not pertain to us, but you can see the story, you can learn, and it does give you those emotions. And so I think women have a lot of misconceptions about men.
Well, it goes both ways,
It does. And so to be able to talk to him and gain that perspective, I was really grateful for that opportunity and appreciative of him as an artist. And I knew when the story went down this path, I knew it had to be JT. I knew because I knew that he would respect the work. I knew that he could give it the grit that I needed it to have, but still have the sense to not take that story into a gruesome, horrific direction. And he actually pulled me back.
Really?
Because there was a scene in there that I changed based on our conversation. And it was because, you know, sometimes we push the envelope, like the new season of The Boys.
Right.
You know, and at some point you have to go, you know what? They've had enough. They've had enough. I'm going to pull back a little bit. We're going to keep going with the strong, you know, with the storyline, with the point of it. But do we need more excessive pain where it does not need to be?
Yeah. Well, that's something Alfred Hitchcock used to talk about in his directing, and something I try to do in my own writing is that that's you see scenes in most Hitchcock films where it leads up to something really, you know, powerful. Then he diffuses it, usually with humor, and pulls back, and then builds it up and hits them harder the next time. And just, you know, that constant, you know, ebb and flow.
Oh, absolutely.
Not so much visual, but I learned a new word recently. Visceral, you know, an internal response to the what's being presented. You know, something hits you in the heart or the gut rather than intellectually. You know, it hits the feels for good or for bad.
Yes.
And you know, I can see a lot of that in this, and I'm you know, I think that's the sort of storytelling I think has more impact, really, because you give the reader more time to breathe and to recover from it. Because otherwise, what you're doing to me is like rubbing a wound. You become desensitized.
Yes,
and
exactly.
it loses the impact after a while. So
right, and it takes away from it too. And that's where with some of these stories, one, I never want to be redundant.
Yeah.
There's no reason to, like, if you have a horror scene, right, and you're stabbing someone.
Yeah.
Well, how much do you need to stab him? They did this in The Matrix. Did you watch the new Matrix? The new Matrix movie, they did this where they just kept showing Neo in the fighting scenes and moving the bullets and moving the bullets. We saw it. We saw it the first 100 times they put it out in the movies and the games. We get it. Yes, it was a long time before we got a new Matrix. We're excited about it. We need to see it again. You got to have that wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But now we saw it again. And are you going to do anything? Is this story going anywhere? They had so many opportunities to hit you in the feels, especially with Trinity's children.
Yeah.
And they missed out on getting you emotionally attached to these characters in this story, and they traded it for a cheap action shot that we've already seen, and it's ground in, and I just don't give a shit anymore.
Right.
So that's where I really wanted to make sure that we rode the line. If you recall in Natalia's story in Unstable, there is a quicksand scene, and we used it, but then there was talk of using it again, and I was like, you know what? No. Yeah. Let's move forward. And if you notice that every scene where someone or something is killed, it's by a new and interesting way that had already been seen before.
Yeah.
So if you see the quicksand, you know, you got the quicksand, it happened, but then, oh, you got this animal. We saw this animal, and now this animal is going to interact with this animal, but now we saw this animal, so we've got to use him over here. And it goes forward.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with what's called the Lester Dent master plot.
I'm not, and spell that for me, please.
Okay, Lester, Lester, Dent, Dent, like what you do to the side of your car, and master plot. This is the guy that wrote Doc Savage back in the 30s through the 50s.
Oh, there's a formula. Awesome.
Yeah, and he explains, you know, part of the thing is and it's a framework for plotting a story. And I think he had it for like I want to say 6,000 words or so, but which was the size of most of the stories back then. But anyway, it's something rather economical. But anyway, it was a thing where it says, you know, okay, somewhere around here, do this. And part of it is fight scenes. And he makes a point of saying, you know, mix it up. It's guns one time, then it's fists another time, knives another. And that's I think it's like one problem with a lot of old Western movies is that it's always guns. But when they mix it up and it becomes fists, maybe.
And the fists are cool, but with a Western, and that was actually where my mind immediately went when you started talking about that was Westerns, right? And so I would say that the rule that you are allowed to break in this is that you overuse the guns. It's the only thing you use. It's an extension of yourself. Yeah. So when you have the opportunity to not have your gun, it's actually more traumatic, and you cannot give them an alternative that is comparable or easy. You can't do that. Now they have to fight with a boot. Now they have to throw rocks. Right. Now they have to shove you. Now they have to pick up a block of wood and hit you with it. They can't just have a crossbow or a different kind of gun, you know? So you're relying on this one weapon. Cool, go there. But then when they can't use it, it has to be harder.
Right. And also as, put the character in an unfamiliar environment and take away all their support.
Exactly. And that's essentially what we did here. Yeah. So I love that you brought up all these things. Alfred and I, we watch tutorials, we watch things, we learn about writing. And, we had already put out Fire Bitch 1. And we started watching these things. We're like, oh, we did this. Yes, and you get excited. You're like, I did that. Okay, cool. I did that. I mean, and I was talking about it the other day. It was someone I was like, we should just watch our security cam footage and get all of the information. I mean, because we have security cameras everywhere. It's 2022.
Right.
And now you have to grow the character, make them adjust to the world. That's interesting because Alfred, his process is he will create a character first. And I will create a scenario first.
Yeah.
And I build from a scene and he builds from a character. So for us to go round and round, it's very interesting because he'll be like, but who's your character? And I'm like, I don't know yet. No, you have to have a character. So then I went through, I was like, I'm going to walk in his shoes. I'm going to try it his way. And I created a character and I'm so attached, I can't do anything horrible to her. I'm like, what do I do with this? Shit. I've got this character and I don't know what to do with her. And I'm trying and I'm thinking, and then I'll like go through this way. But she's my baby. I don't want to hurt her.
Well,
I don't want to see her. It's so weird.
No, I get it. But what is the old thing about kill your darlings?
Yes. But because I created her first.
Right.
I want to kill her first, then create her. That's another thing that we struggle with too, because he's like, Cara, you can only kill so many children. You can only cannibalize so much. I'm like, fine.
Be that way.
But how many times a day do we eat, right? 3 meals a day. That's at least 3 cannibalistic opportunities.
There we go. And brothers are our animal. Our animals are our brothers. So there we go. And Max DeVille says a fight in a Western or in any fiction should be more about the conflict between the characters than the actual fight. The lightsabers in Empire don't really matter. It is the conflict between Vader and Luke that is the main point of the fight. And that's a very good point, Max. Thank you for making it. There should always be some reason to have that fight other than it's been too long since we've had one. So
I'm really glad we're talking about Westerns here because my first comic that I ever published was a Western.
Oh, really?
It was a Western, and it was called Nixed. And if you recall, you saw an ad for that in the digital of Unstable.
That's right. Not to mention
So that was my first cosplay cover for my own book. And it was, let's say, our biggest investment at the time, because this was back in the olden days, about 10 years ago, was the stapler that we needed to be able to staple these things.
The long one? one? Yes, the sales picture, yes.
And you're like, okay, maybe how much money do you got? We wrote it at a Denny's over 18 cups of coffee. It was an ash can. It was a fun little story. And Alfred's like, you got something here. And it is so the basic premise of the initial story was you've got a cowgirl in Arizona in the Old West, and she is super hot but she is really gross. So nobody wants a gross woman. Like there's flies around her. She's like Pigpen kind of, and she's just kind of gross. There are a lot of inside jokes in there that we have brought into what is going to be the new series. But you know, we've expanded the cast. This is a cowgirl, and she fights demons and monsters. It's a monster of the week. You know, obviously there's a bigger plot line, but it's your typical monster of the week. And that's turned into some ideas for a whole Western universe of women characters from this era and how they interact with each other and their own stories. They're not all cowgirls. They all have different places in the Old West. The Old West is very fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
It's incredible out here and what people lived through and why many of them moved. There's a lot of social commentary that we're going to even be getting into as well that isn't like, you can tell we don't get political. We don't cram it down everybody's throat. And if you notice from Fire Bitch, there is no right or left agenda. Issue 1, you have a clear bad guy, a clear good guy. Issue 2, you're like, wait a minute. And you start finding out reasons of why people do what they do. So that's something that we definitely hit in these stories. You know, like I said, issue 2, you find out why. Now, when I ran for House of Representatives in 2016, I went and talked to the union PAC, and they were going to decide if they were going to endorse me, which they did not endorse me. And by the end of this bullshit, I was like, you know what? I don't want any of your endorsements. I don't want an endorsement because an endorsement just means I'm selling out to you. And I don't want that. And so I went in and they asked me, they said, so how do you feel about people who don't join the union and don't pay their union dues? And I was like, well, what do you mean? Like, you know, if there's a place that has a union and the people don't pay their dues, you know, freeloaders. So I can tell you're going in a direction. You called them freeloaders. You went negative. And I said, you know, unions, from what I understand, were created to help the worker. They were created to help the worker. Here, Alfred. They were created to make sure the workers had what they needed and take care of them. Am I correct?
Right.
So, so if someone's not paying their dues, I would think that the first thing you do is go to them and ask them if they're okay. Why are you not paying your dues? Is your mother sick and you have no money? Are you that bad off? Find out what their needs are, because guess what? That's your job in the first place. They did not like that.
Of course
they didn't like that. I was really like, wow. So I'm very, very meticulous about making sure that people, your voice must stay the same. This is a writing thing as well. You want to create your character and make sure that their voice is their voice. You can grow as a character, you can learn, but your voice is always who you are. And everybody, even your biggest, most evilest asshole out there, they have a reason for doing what they're doing. So in issue 2, front, inner, cover, you don't even get to page 1. It tells you exactly what the bad guy's side is. And we even have a song called Galactic Overlord, written and played by Cold Music, all about it.
There you go. From this, a small press publisher says, to me, it's harder to make the world. We can always make characters and scenarios, but the hardest thing is how do they fit in the world that they live / happen in? You've got to create an environment where their actions are believable. I think, you know, that and
that goes into their voice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that is a challenge. That is, Joe. And any scenario or character can be either good, bad, or both, only based on the world it happens in.
But what is bad and what is good? And that's where it really comes into that. You know, my grandmother told me that if you think too much about the universe and the specifics of it, that you'll go crazy. And I did. And so now I just write it all down and you guys get to read it.
and go crazy with you. That works out. And Joe's looking forward to issue 3, just like the rest of us are. Mark Holmes says, the Western Gal universe sounds like so much fun. I have a character in mind if you are interested.
So my goal is to have 7 characters. And like, I'm definitely jumping the gun here. Like we're just putting out issue 1 again, because what I had was an ash can. And the goal of this, and actually what I did with that, just as a little, I had started the AZ Power Girl magazine. And that didn't go as well as I had hoped or thought, but I put 4 pages of Nixed in the back. So the idea was you had to keep getting the magazine to get the whole story. Right. It never got finished. My partner, and actually that was not a book I did with Alfred.
Oh, okay.
I did that book with my buddy Coop. And so he moved on and, you know, got a little family and does all those things. But yeah, my goal is to have 7 different women, and they are not all cowgirls. They all have a different place in, you know, in this world. And, you know, everything is always kind of like interchangeable. If you remember issue 1 of Fire Bitch, you open it up, you've got the woman in the leopard print, the redhead with the fire in her hand.
Oh, yeah.
And the woman in the leopard print is the hostess of Unstable Frequency. She's like our crypt keeper. So the way that book is written is it's an anthology, but each story is separated by a page of the hostess giving you dialogue. So it's like watching Tales from the Crypt. It starts out with the crypt keeper. He talks some smack. You have your story. At the end, he talks some more smack.
Right. Yeah.
And did you catch at the end of Ruth who was in there? And if you catch in Michelle, that final, there's that one panel who was in it. So she's going to come around.
Yeah.
She's a very large part of our universe, and everything is interconnected in some way.
There we go. That's why you've got to buy all the issues. It's like Pokemon to be part of the Caraverse here. So
yeah, so you can be part of the Caraverse.
Yeah. And Kara's Nebula Pearl story experiments with what is wrong for one group of people might be just be natural for another, says Mark Holmes. And that's good storytelling there.
I did not write all of Nebula Pearl. And not going to lie, I didn't even read all of Nebula Pearl.
It's this attention to the little things that makes Kara's books as good as they are. So,
well, here's the thing: Nebula Pearl was not our book. That was done by Luis Torres, and he asked us to. He did a mind meld. So he asked me and Alfred and Wendy Shaner and Michael Schumacher and C.B. Zane, and he gave us each X amount of pages of a book. And I thought we were going last. And I was very excited about going last because I want to make sure everything gets all buttoned up and beautiful and tidied up like it's supposed to.
Right.
But then they gave us the first.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
That changes things.
I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. So it changes it. And we also had like character design. We also like basically created the story because he gave us nothing. Do what you want. Okay. So first of all, I put my cousin in the story. My cousin's name is in the story. I put a mutual friend of me and Alfred in the story because I love the names. And so we've got a small crowd here. So funny story. We were under the impression that we were being hired. And Alfred was the only one credited.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh, okay. Because here's the thing. If it comes down to the story of Nebula Pearl and where did it come from? What was your inspiration? No one can answer that except me. I mean, Alfred definitely had a hand in it, but like your base concept, the ship is based off of Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
The ship's captain is a hologram. They're cannibalistic. Alfred never wants a cannibal. I'm like, can we go out for cannibal tonight? And he's like, no, I'm getting tacos. You can put people in tacos one day. So, you know, so when it came down to like those weird details, and he's from Mexico, they didn't have Red Dwarf there. So they weren't part. Yeah, no, he grew up in Mexico. They didn't have that. So, you know, these are things that like really only I know.
So you're his envoy into a larger world of cannibalism, right?
Yes. So the guy that works in the galley, the guy that makes all the food, his name is Felix, and that's our cat's name is Felix, and so he's Felix, but he's based on Neelix, and I'm also making fun of Alfred.
And that's important to make fun of
I do
yourself.
this all the time. There are so many Easter eggs in every single thing I do. So many different connections. So in Fire Bitch, there's a city called O'Durfla Square. O'Durfla is Alfredo backwards.
Oh, nice.
And Alfredo is his name. The city of Osleon. Osleon is my cousin. Her mother made that name up. And I love it. And I'm like, totally and No Place Like Home, Wizard of Oz.
Right.
Everything is connected. And people are like looking at me like, what? My brain is like a beehive.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm loving this.
And I say that, but Candyman walked me down the aisle at my wedding.
Wow.
Like Tony Todd, the Candyman.
Yeah.
Throwing rice. We just said Candyman 3 times, and he opened up his mouth, and out the bees came.
Well, I'm thinking
I'm making this shit up right now, but it really does work.
It does, yeah. Well, here's a little secret in my writing. In almost everything I write, you will see the name Penwright.
Okay.
In about 90% of what I create, unless it's for somebody else. But most of my stuff has the name Penwright in it, because when I was first trying to become a professional writer back in my formative years, I would write everything out on 8.5 by 14 legal pads. The brand name was Penwright. And I was stuck for a name when my very first story, and I thought, well, I needed a last name for Penwright. That's a good name. And so ever since then, I've used Penwright in most of my stories. Yeah.
I love that so much. So if you go back to Alfred's early art, he signed everything Alf. And then I was like looking at it, I'm like, what's AZP mean? And so he stopped doing that. So I have kind of become dubbed the cosplay diva. Okay. Right? And everybody has like their title. And Alfred is the Aztec warrior. Because if you look at where his family comes from, he is Aztec like that. He's Aztec native, with some Spanish in there, but yeah, he's absolutely Aztec. And so, he's Aztec warrior. Jim Noble, we've dubbed the Clown Prince. So, yeah, everybody has their own. Yeah.
Yeah. Just hang around long enough, Joe. It'll show up.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, nothing wrong with that.
We always have so much going on. Like I said, check out the YouTube. There's, music videos from the issue 1. There's some new stuff coming up. Like I said, the Unstable Frequencies digital is out, so please take a look at that. If you haven't gotten it, you can still get it on Indiegogo. All of our campaigns roll over to Indiegogo. So we are building the Fire Bitch 3 campaign on Indiegogo, and the Fire Bitch 2 campaign will go away. We also have our online store where you can get digital copies of issue 1 and 2 right now of Fire Bitch, so you can catch up. You can also buy issue 1 and 2, and I can mail it to you. I use the backing board and bag thing where you lick the back and close it. So if you have a problem with that, then I won't lick your package. So someone once said use tape.
I'd only known that was an option.
You didn't know that? No. It's sticky enough. It's like thin enough plastic that you lick the back and then it closes your backing your comic book bag.
Well,
so
if
that
you clean your package more often, it wouldn't be so sticky.
So you put the tape on it and then the tape like rips.
Yeah.
No, you're supposed to lick it and close it. I just made that up and I want to see how many people are going to do it.
Yeah, report back on your progress with this, people. Okay. And he's funny. Says, there's a quote: "Male bees die after mating. That's basically their life. Honey, nut, cheerio, and kiss the bag."
with that, kiss the back.
If more people did, Mark, this would be a better world. I'm telling you. So,
Yes.
oh, I don't know which one of us needs the bigger parental warning on this channel, but anyway.
Can you imagine if we did a late night show? Why are there no places where you can stream an after dark show and talk?
We need, I've been saying for years, I need to do that and just, just like totally uninhibited. Because some people like our friend Uncle Carl Witzman has the green room. And I have shocked more people who go on there and find out that I swear like a sailor. That I'm actually better behaved on here, God help me, than I am most other social situations. And
I've been in the green room. Yeah,
my dear, yes, you have. And it's like Nita Lanning, poor Nita was just like, I think I gave her a stroke one night when I started launching into an obscenity-laced tirade about something. And she's like, Brian, I didn't know you swore.
I love Nita. Nita's my girl. She is so great.
She's
actually, I had written, since, we're talking about writing here, I had written an adult book, and I was reading it to her, and we were just going off. We're just in a private, me and her hanging out online. Right. So you can do that now. You can hang out with your friends and not leave your house.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, right? So yeah, she's fantastic, and it's definitely different when you read things out loud.
Yes. They say you should.
You should. But it was interesting. So at one point, and this is what kind of makes things a little odd, someone had said, "Oh, if I had known, you were like that, then we could have hooked up when I was in Phoenix." And I'm like, wait, like, what makes you think that because I wrote a dirty superhero book, that means that I would be down to go have a sexual relationship with you in like a one night stand? What made you think this?
Yeah.
Where did this come from?
Well, and this harkens back to the difference between men and women, I suspect. There's probably one more reason there.
It's so odd. I was like, what?
Yeah. Somebody you've never encountered before all of a sudden thinks that, you're the garage for their Maserati.
And the thing is he didn't even know what I wrote. What if it had been about sex cannibals? Then do you want to hook up with me? You're only here for one day.
Yeah.
He left and I'd never heard from him again.
Oddly enough, or Super Pager, that would be, that might open his eyes a little in more ways than one. So yeah, I'd love to hook up with you. Now, do you want the industrial size, or do you just want to ease up, progressively into it, that sort of thing? So,
right?
Yeah. We're having that nighttime show right now, apparently. Good morning, Willow Skyler.
I would love to, Willow. I love Willow's Pillow Talk, and I've been saying ever since I met her that one time online, I was like, you know what? I would love to, for you to have a show where it's a bunch of women getting together in our pajamas. We gotta get in our PJs. And, and talk some stuff. It's funny because women talk. People think, you know why women claim that men are all dirty? Because we're dirty. Men get together and they talk about video games and they talk about the Marvel universe and they talk about nothing. And they, just don't say anything. They sit in silence and it's okay. Women, we talk about everything. If your penis has been looked at by a woman, it has been described to multiple other ones. We are terrible.
I know this because the first dirty talk I ever heard was in high school from one of my female friends who just launched into a tirade about one of her body parts and how it resembled like one of the pieces of furniture in the room. And that's as far as we'll go with that. But one time when I was single, I had a tequila race with a couple friends from Chicago. I came in second. My prize was contestant number 3. And then she told contestant number 1, and then I wound up dating her. So.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
So, yeah. So I thought I should interject a little romance here. So anyway, yeah. Ace Bonnie says 183degreestudio.com here is Kara's website, and she has a newsletter also. You know what to do. Sign up for that thing right now. All right. And Jody McFee says, I have to keep it clean here. Well, nobody else has. But I can suspect the topics that he would like on a random hook. Yeah.
Hook.
Yeah.
I love Jody. I would love to get together. Like, we really do need to do one of these streams. We can just go live, block out like 3 hours. Let's talk about writing. Let's talk about creating characters and world building and let people know, how to continue on with that, share our experiences with each other.
Yeah. I'd love that too. In fact, I do plan on one time soon bringing back Clever Title Pending.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
having more panel sessions, so that may be coming down the road pretty quick, and we might not keep it clean. Who knows? Anyway,
but that's something to talk about too, because even writing adult content has its own thing. There's a lot of standardized ways of doing it. Do you want a storyline or do you want a clip? It's very different. Are you using a character enough that you want to create a world? Cherry Pop-Tart is a great example of that.
Oh, yes. I love Cherry Pop-Tart. That was great.
Right? What do we know about her? It's very, very minimal.
Yeah.
But you still enjoy the scenarios she's in. So it's just a matter of how much you want to give versus how much that person wants to receive. Because something that's hypersexual is not necessarily going to need a big, deep storyline. And that actually might take away from the sex, which would actually disappoint the reader or viewer at that point. Because they came in looking for a specific experience and did not get that.
Yeah.
So you don't want to have something where you have an aggressive, hot and heavy sex situation and then you go to Denny's with your mom.
Yeah, that's true. There needs to be a disclaimer. Right.
If you don't want to be done, finish now before turning the page.
Yeah.
It can take away from that. So there's a whole different dynamic. But I have seen some adult content that is very deep. It's very good. And I had come across something randomly, and I really wish I had watched this movie. Okay. It's an adult movie, and I have no idea what the name is, but it's a Mexican movie.
Okay.
And it was like 3 hours long, and there's dialogue and there's scenes, and it's almost like Narcos, but with chick porn.
Wow.
I know. And I'm like, man, I really wish I could see this movie because it seems like there's a wonderful storyline behind that. Yeah. So you want to give enough to keep so it is a different type of realm.
Yeah, definitely. Well, did you ever read a comic? This was back in the 90s called Xenophile by Phil Folio.
Is that the one where they're in space? Is it the French one?
No. This was it was 10 issues plus a couple side issues. This is the guy that used to do Phil and Dixie in Dragon Magazine, and he's also done some work for DC. But they were basically 4 to 6 page stories with some hardcore smut in there. And he wrote and drew them all, and then he had like different inkers. Cookie and I actually fell in love with one of the stories about religious folks, avert your ears, where the devil is lording it over God because all the stars are in alignment and the Antichrist would be conceived that night. So the devil goes to a singles bar and coerces mentally this one couple into doing kinky sex.
So just so you know, if you do want the Xenophile collection #1 in paperback, you can get it on Amazon for only $1,196.
I've got a good investment then, because I got all that crap.
You've got a great investment.
I better get that thing slabbed if Cookie will let me.
Right? No kidding.
No, and actually we have a page from it, a page from that book. We got it on our honeymoon at Chicago Con one year.
Oh my God, you and Cookie are so great. You guys are the best. Who has stories like that? Who says that besides comic book people, right?
I know, right? And the funny thing was, we wanted the last page because the whole thing was the devil, in order to get the Antichrist conceived, it's like, okay, you guys, now let's do it the normal way. And they're like, okay, one more time. And the last panel is like the devil screaming in frustration. And the line from God is deviant and unrepentant. Well, I guess you showed me.
Oh,
And we
okay.
wanted that last page. And because he was selling, Phil was selling original art. And he goes, well, I'm sorry, but all I've got is the splash page. And we're like, oh, okay, if that's all you got. It's like,
Right. So, and heavy metal did that too, where it was different art styles for every story.
oh, yeah.
And we did put that in Unstable Frequencies. And that was something that Alfred and I were kind of like back and forth on. He's like, well, who do you want to get to draw it? I'm like, I want a different artist for every story. And he's like, what?
Sure.
Like, what about a color? So I was like, no, different colors and everything. And part of that was because I wanted each artist to be good at, what they do. You can have someone that's good at everything in general, but if you've got someone that really nails a style that goes with the story, like I wanted to have that. I wanted the colors to be different. And, we went through all of this. And then at the end, when the PDF was done, I looked and I was like, oh my God, did I make the right decision?
Yeah.
Should I have used the same artist? I don't know. But we also have it available in floppies. So you get each story separately too. So you don't have to have it in one piece. But I mean, I believed in it when I did it, but then, you're going to question yourself. And I did. And I don't know. I hope I made the right decision. I believe I did. But it made it a lot easier to not have to wait for one artist to draw 60 pages.
Right.
So you can break it up into smaller chunks, eat that whale one bite at a time, Shel Silverstein style.
Exactly. Yeah. And also you got to go with your instincts creatively, and you've been around long enough to know this. So, you
walked around the con a couple times, I went to a Comic-Con once and I decided to make my own comic book.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
I know. How hard can it be? They do it every month.
So I was at Phoenix Con a few weeks ago, and someone who I hadn't seen in a long time, since pre-COVID, of course, was there, and he came up and we were talking, and I was like, hey, aren't you on like your 5th book now? And he had said, yeah, and I've got a signing coming up, and, it's just a small town and that sort of thing. But yeah, I do have, my 5th book, and he's very excited about it. And he says, I remember years ago, I came to you and I told you I wanted to write a comic book, and you asked me if I drew, and I don't. And you told me that I should write it in prose, because I explained to him the process of a comic book. People don't understand how complex putting together a comic book is, and how complex it is to create this and do this. So how much time it takes, how much each page costs, just because of the time it takes and how long. And so he wrote it in prose, and he just kept going, and he has his book series. And I actually I bought his first book as soon as it came out, right on Amazon. And so it's exciting when people talk to me and I get to like give them my recommendation, and then watching them succeed. Like that's like one of the best feelings in the world.
It really is.
I know you get that a lot, because this is what you do. You bring people like you here, and you talk to us, and you pitch everyone's stuff, and you share your years of experience and your love of literature and smutterature and all of it.
You know me so well. Yes. Yeah, and it is a good feeling to be able to encourage some people, because one book, I recommend this all the time to everybody: Becoming a Writer, Staying a Writer by J. Michael Straczynski.
Staying a writer's the hard part, because there's days where you just like,
screw this. Yeah, screw this hard. But yeah, the guy did Babylon 5, did the screenplay to Thor, did all kinds of comic books. And he talks about it, and we mention it often, that when you're reaching up the ladder for the next rung, you should always have the other hand down, pulling somebody up with you. Because this thing can't end with us, No,
not at all. It absolutely cannot end with us. It's got to keep going, and this is what we do. Yeah. There was a time when comics were considered trash. Yeah. These stories have grown with us. Look what Marvel's doing with their whole universe right now. It's amazing.
I know. It's like when I was in college, we had like the old Spider-Man TV show with Nicholas Hammond, where with the spider, the web shooters on the outside of his costume, and all kinds of things that were just not quite like the comics. Whereas now if you can imagine it, it can show up on the screen. So
Yes.
yeah, so yeah, it's a great time to be a geek right now. It wasn't as sexy back then when I was younger. Nick Tucker says, yeah, have me host your show. Having followed this much fun. There we go. And don't forget, Nick will be hosting this show Friday morning, so please give him some love. And Willow Skyler says, locker room talk is definitely not just a man thing. You'd be shocked what you hear in the powder room. Oh, I know. I hear about it. Yeah. That's why I try to behave as badly as I do. And Crisco Kids #1, dirty minds are the cleanest kinds. I'm okay, sure. And from the That's What Small Press Publisher, writing adult content has its own way to deal with the psychology behind the experiences, especially if you get into fetishes. Back to keeping it clean. There we go.
Yeah,
and
so Alfred and I actually do the dirty books as well together. So we get really good. Our books we always have comedy in there. There's always going to be comedy, but they're very, they're not one-sided. It's not just men. It's not just women.
Right.
I mean, you're going to get a full experience. You're going to get a story. You're going to get smut. It's going to be funny. So yeah, we do have those also available, and they usually come on our backer kits.
There you go. And I can explain anything that Kara puts in there. So, unfortunately. And we're still doing it on Thursday nights. J.D. Smith, good to see you here. Mark Holmes, several Marvel Associate editors just called up one day and said, I just read some comics and I want to be an editor. It's funny. I've got a friend who knew Dick Giordano at DC, and he told me that Dick told him that one of the board members of Warner's back then said, hey, my son just graduated from college. Could you make him an editor? And I don't even think the kid had even read a comic book or had one read to him, but he thought it'd be easy. So, yeah.
But that's the problem. It's not. Comics is actually harder than most other types of writing.
I can write something like this, available on Amazon, #always promote. I can write something like this much easier than I can write a 20-page comic book story. I really can, because comics have so many rules that you have to follow. And it's astonishing, for a while I was editing scripts for this one company, and it's astonishing how many people don't take the time to learn those rules. Because I was getting scripts where somebody had like 20 panels on a page. One panel had 200, I counted it, 250 words. Yeah, which is about the amount you put on the whole dang page.
Follow Matt Hawkins from Top Cow. He actually does a lot of posts like this, and he's like, okay, this is an example of a page with too much dialogue. And if you see someone shaking hands in a panel, you don't need to tell the reader they shook hands. We see that they're doing it. So you have to ride the line between letting the story tell itself with the panels, not having too much, face. You want the face panel, but you don't want every time someone talks, it's a panel of their face. You don't want that. You want your scene to move. You want to see more of the environment. What's going on in your background? What other things are being seen? What can I show? What can I have them talk about to give the reader information? Because you're not going to have two people both sitting here. We're not going to have a conversation about something we both know.
Yeah.
If we both know all the information, I don't need to tell you. But because we're live, they don't know. So you guys over here, we're talking to you through talking to each other, for an example. So you have to have someone new to the scene that you have to explain to, or a reason that this exposition needs to be given. Right. So sometimes you do write that in narration. Sometimes you just have a narration bubble. I've seen comics that are all narration. I'm like, bro, you gonna let your people talk? I would hate to be in a relationship with you, like your girlfriend be like,
Yeah. And, and also two things that comic scripters rarely think about: body language and emotions.
If they're talking, their mouth should be open. If they're happy, if they're sad, and those are little things. Unstable frequencies, the rave scene, the original, like her face was not crying, or things like that. We had to go back and make these minor adjustments. Did she hit this guy? What is the emotion of the scene? And you have to be able to move past the scene. Even if you do it movie magic style, like we do montages in Fire Bitch. I love montages.
Yes.
And if you saw the training scene in Fire Bitch 2, it's very indicative of a lot of Rocky movies.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, you have a scene. Well, how does she learn to fight? Here's how she learned to fight. Am I going to show you 6 months, 8 issues of her going through training? No, I'm going to give you a Rocky montage scene. There you go. Exactly. So we have a reason for this changeover while showing some growth during it. So you want to make sure that you hit on all those markers.
Exactly. And a montage works better for, say, a training scene or something that happens with different actions over a prolonged period of time than, say, a fight scene where you need to focus in on the exact action and move the story through that. And you'll notice a lot of older Marvel comics, like back when Stan Lee was writing them, they would have a fight scene, but they would be using the dialogue then to give nuance. So... And Nick Tockard says, Brian, it's time for you to write a Rising Tide guide to creating comic series. We are planning stuff like that. And bring Cookie home. Thank you, Nick Tockard. Love you, man. And no talking heads. The only talking head should be David Byrne and his band. It's getting late for a background rant and white panels need them. So I'll just be like what Kara said. There you go. And notice us the last few minutes, gesturing. That's something else that people just don't pay attention to. That's why I think one of the best books on writing comics is the Stan Lee, John Buscema, How to Draw Marvel Comics the Marvel Way. Because they do a couple pages on it's like a boardroom scene with normal people, but they're just standing there in one set and it's dull as dirt. Then they show them like articulating, with their hands and their bent spines and all that stuff. So it makes for a better creative experience. And Nick Tucker says, because the fonts and format of some classic references are heavily outdated and nearly unreadable. That's true. And Team America World Police, We Need a Montage song is blaring in my head. That's not the song that usually blares in mine from Team America, but we won't sing that here. And everyone needs a montage. You get a montage. You get a montage. Everybody gets a montage.
Now, if you go back, you brought up Stan Lee. If you go back to some of the older comics that he did, I love the way that they do their credits. Instead of just having credits, it'll be like a billboard. And the billboard doesn't matter. It's just part of the scene, but it'll say, lovingly scripted with the pristine hand of Stan Lee. And they made very flowery presentations for their staff. And I love that. That was so good.
Yeah, I did too. And people should do more of that, I think. And Mark Holmes says, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way should be required reading in school. Amen.
Absolutely.
Along with the Will Eisner books and the Scott McCloud books.
So, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, a girlfriend of mine started writing her first comic, and, in the process, she had her birthday, and I sent her that Scott McCloud book for her birthday. It's like, happy birthday, you're getting to work, here you go.
Oh, my God. Yes. And the thing is, there's an old series he did called Zot. That is, oh, my God, that was brilliant. Oh, great stuff. And the thing is, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, a new printing. I have seen it in the last couple of years popping up every now and then at Five Below. So haunt those stores. You might be able to grab you a copy. I've got one of the original printings, but I want one that I can just pull the pages out and use them as I will. J.D. Smith, digital artist, says in school, framed ink was required reading. Okay. Oh, I remember that book now. I mean, there's a lot of good books on comic book writing and, art and everything. But, I think you stick with the McCloud and Will Eisner, who is basically the grandfather of graphic novels. You won't go wrong there. And thank you. And Scott McCloud, understanding comics is a necessity. I agree with you completely on that, Nick. And yes, the golden age of the spirit comics are the best. Yeah, where even the logo became part of the background sometimes. That's another lost art there too. So, and we got through all the comments, dear.
We did.
Yay!
We could go on forever.
Oh my God, yes, we could.
Really could. We, just talking comics and writing and the whole process. It's just, it's enjoyable in itself.
We got to do that. We'll make plans sometime, and we'll do a clever title pending or something. We'll get a couple other comic people in here, and we'll talk form and all.
Well, and maybe we need to pick our discussions. Like, we're going to talk specifically about these things.
Yeah.
You know, kind of. We could even do a series if we wanted to do like 6 weeks, where we have a day and a time, and talk about these things and bring in different people for other based on their expertise who we like. Because there's so many different things. Like, people think lettering is easy. Lettering is a bitch.
No kidding. Even whether you're doing it by computer or by hand, either one. And it's an art form. It is an art unto itself, which is why you have recognizable styles. And you're drawing the letter. If you do it by hand, so the Ames lettering guy, you are drawing. You're an artist. You are drawing the letters.
But as a writer, starting at writing, you have to make sure that you have enough room. So I'll tell you that Michelle story.
Yeah.
When we went from all the art being back to the lettering script portion, because I have a different lettering script so that it doesn't have, like, you don't need all my tree references and bullshit for the letters. You know what I mean? And you want to tidy everything up. You want to make sure everything's spelled right. You want to make sure it's all done. And we practically rewrote that whole story.
Oh, I bet.
We also, because we knew that there were spaces where we were going to need more exposition and more discussion, we cherry-picked a font that would work with all of the points we wanted to hit, and it made it where everything was a little bit skinnier. So it brought everything in. You wouldn't even notice it. It's basically the same font that we would normally use, but there's a little bit skinnier, just to make sure that we had adequate space for those things. So you need everybody on the same page. You need to make sure that, you're keeping room for that. Can you put dialogue outside of a panel? And if you can, you got to make sure that the panel that it's going outside of doesn't have anything in there that's going to be blocked off importantly.
Exactly.
So utilize your space. Think about these things when you're writing, drawing, coloring, editing, everything, because it's all part of the story.
Exactly. Now, I need 2 minutes because I have an old man's bladder, but we have a great question here from Nick Tockard, and we'll close the show after this. I'm going to give you the full screen here.
Oh, you're going to give me the full screen?
Yes, and here we go, which probably everybody's been wishing I had done for the last 2 damn hours. But anyway, question for the guests. What do you want to see created by others to help the industry? I'll be right back.
Okay. One, I want to see good quality work. Because I don't ever, as much as it's exciting for everybody to just be like, I'm going to do a book. Yes. But if you're going to do it well. Do it well. I'm not going to say do it right, because there is no right way. I do not believe in a right or wrong way. But do it well. And if you believe in your story, tell me a story. Tell me why. This is the first question I ask everyone. Why do you love your character? And why should I love your character? And if you cannot tell me what drives anyone to love your character, you have nothing. Because they're boring. Now, you can have flat art characters, that's fine. But do I hate this character? Because there are characters, I've watched things and I'm like, I really hate this guy. Wow, I hate this guy more. I really, really hate this guy. And you got to keep watching the train wreck because you hate him so much that you want to know what's happening. You want him to guide you through this world. So, yes, you can imagine Lord of the Rings, but everyone's boring and there's no interaction. Nobody gives a shit. It's a beautiful world. It's an amazing world. But without the characters' interactions, without their own personal struggles, you're not going to really get the full benefit of that world and environment. So I want to see people do things well. We talked about a lot of different resources. Actually, in my movie night last night, we watched Chippendale Rescue Rangers. So if you want to join my patreon.com/azpowergirl, that is where we do movie night every Tuesday. Everyone can have their cameras and mics on as they choose and at their comfort level. And we watch a movie and we talk about things. We watched Chippendale Rescue Rangers. And as many people would think, why would you watch that? It was a well-written story. It was a fantastically written story. It hit all the markers. It grew with you. And that's what you want. So write it well, do a good job. Don't cheap out in places that don't need to be cheapened out. Example, I was in a movie I was filming a movie a few years ago, and there was a scene, and I suggested the guy was taking an Alka-Seltzer, and because of the gravity of the situation, there were things that, and I had nothing to do with it. I was just an actor, and they set up his desk, and I'm like, no, I got to interject here. First of all, this is an older gentleman at an older style desk. He's not going to have a gaming chair. So I had them pull one of the chairs from the dining set to put it in there, because even though it was a less comfortable chair, it was more indicative of a man of his generation to have an appropriate environment. And then they pulled out this plastic shitty cup, this plastic like water cup that was like a disposable. Wait, no. He is a man, even though he has a lower business, he was like an agent or something. And this guy in a business suit, played by Matt Gilliland, he would not use this crappy cup. Let's get him a glass. So I went into the cabinets and I busted out this glass that was, just like a whiskey glass, but it was a heavy glass whiskey glass, because that's what this guy's going to drink his Alka-Seltzer out of. That goes back to your character's voice. Their character's voice, their movements, their patterns, their behaviors. Your character's voice always needs to be the same. So for this character's voice, a gaming chair and a plastic shitty cup are not going to do it. He needs a more sturdy chair. He needs a heavy glass. And then I was like, look, do this just because I think you need the footage. I want you to zoom in and I want you to show him hitting the Alka-Seltzer in there, because it's a very strong, that minor thing. And it turned into shooting over and over and over and getting the sound on the fizz. They were like, well, I don't want to waste all this Alka-Seltzer. I'm like, Alka-Seltzer, this is the cheapest thing you have. Literally the cheapest thing you have in this whole movie, and you're worried about wasting it. Don't cheap out on cheap shit. You are better, your money is better spent finding a very good, strong artist with a lesser name. We've got some amazing covers that did not cost us that much. We've got some covers that are great that come from artists with bigger names. You want both, but you are better off spending a lower amount of money on a variant cover that is of good quality, that's indicative of your universe, your book, that is good in its own right without a strong name behind it, and spending a little bit of money on good letters. Something that can really turn off a book is the letters. And actually, Mark Holmes brought this up one time about someone put a word balloon right over a woman's chest.
Oh.
There are ways that can be done, but it wasn't necessary. There was space everywhere, and it wasn't used to cover her chest. That would be appropriate if it was acting as a censor bar, because it's funny, but only for that reason. Or if they were overloaded, but there was room everywhere. Why are you gonna put it right in front, right on the character? So you're better off save $500, get a $200 cover artist, and spend $300 or $200 on a good letterer. Exactly. So those are things, if you're going to do well, what I want to see from others, I want them to do it well.
Well said. Well said. I agree with everything you said. And thank you for that time there. And larger than charge, always, as always. And it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And it was a great buddy reconciliation. Chippendale Rescue Rangers, that is, made you feel like you watched the next generation of Roger Rabbit movie. Okay, cool. Thank you, Joe. But yeah, no, I agree. As someone told me a long time ago, it only costs a little extra to fly first class.
Oh, not anymore.
Well, no, not now. But of course, this was 40 years ago. But no, it's just the idea that, just a little bit extra makes the experience better for everybody. So, and you don't have to, just toss your money out willy-nilly. Just spend it wisely and get the right people. Yeah, because
But a lot of times people don't know what that means, and that's why I brought it up about you can have a really great piece of art by someone who's lesser known.
Right. Exactly. No, very good point. Very good point. Thank you very much for that. So we have been here over 2 hours, and I've enjoyed every second of it.
Me too.
Oh, cool. Well, I tell you what. Let's check the tote board. We are only 5 people away now from getting that 469. If you weren't here earlier, yay! So we're at $464 and $41,168. Thank you to whoever pledged just now. And
yes, thank you.
Yeah, and cool. And Carrie, you want to talk about the project one more time before we sign off here?
No, but I will. Fire Bitch 3 is currently on Kickstarter. We'll be rolling over to Indiegogo, but the Kickstarter is where we gain all of our stretch goals. You will get the stretch goals on Indiegogo, but they will not continue to move up, and it's called the Goodie Pack, and you get whatever we have left over for anything that we haven't had anyone miss anything yet. But yes, 56 hours to go. We are having a closing party on Friday. Find me on Facebook.com/AZPowerGirl, maybe on YouTube, maybe on some other places. I don't know. We do know we're doing Facebook. It just depends on if we do some live music or not. Please, please, please send me your questions, and we can answer them on air at the time. We're going to talk about the book. We're going to show you some stuff from it, and we've got plenty of cover options and a fantastic story. If you haven't gotten all 3 yet, get it now. And if you want to go read issue 1 or 2, it's on my store, 183degreestudio.com. You can see the digital and be like, I got to get issue 3 and I got to get this in print. We also have our books typically graded a 9.8 or above. So I think Brian left me again.
No. Here I am. There. What happened? There we go.
I have no idea.
Okay, StreamYard's being weird. But anyway, I hit the correct button, damn it. But anyway, it's been a joy, as always. Thank you for being here. And stick around. I'll close out the show, and then we'll talk a little bit afterwards. How's that sound?
Wonderful. You close out the show. I'm going to go where you went already.
All right. I already flushed and everything, so it's safe. So anyway, thanks, Cara. That was CARA NICOLE, everyone. Hope you enjoyed having her here as much as I did. I love talking to this lady. She's brilliant. She's gorgeous. And hope you picked up some good stuff from her. And what we also want you to pick up is an attitude of gratitude. And we forgot to thank everyone beforehand, but this episode has been brought to you by Rising Tide Publications. Please check the Rising Tide, because we got a great new book coming out this later this summer called The Terrors. If you like Golden Age superheroes, we've got something, a little different twist on it that I think you'll enjoy. And also, we want to thank our ongoing sponsor, Plasma Fire Graphics. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
You've worked hard and written a great book. Now, it's time to give it a great cover. If you're an indie author or small press publisher, Plasma Fire Graphics is your source for affordable cover illustration and graphic design. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
Check out the Plasma Fire Graphics place at Facebook. Place on Facebook, right? It's called a page, Brian. Okay, thank you. And also check out plasmafiregraphics.com, where you can inquire directly to Jeffrey Hayes about his incredible indie creator friendly pricing. You'll be glad you did. That's Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you, because it definitely matters to your readers. And also want to thank, as always, our Patreon supporters. Patreon is a monthly subscription service where you can directly support your favorite creators, and many of these people have their own pages that you can support them as well. We offer a twice weekly blog, as well as all kinds of cool things like upcoming views of our upcoming novels. For instance, people have already read the first draft of The Terrors, next Volcana 2. So if you wanted to read the sequel and find out what Angelique Forge has been up to the last 7 years, go to www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. We're going to start serializing it in about a week or so. And we hope you'll check us out and see what we offer in exchange for your direct financial participation in the Rising Tide. And we want to thank everyone for your great comments, great questions for Kara. And don't forget, tomorrow night on this show here, Comic Book Spectrum, I will not be hosting tomorrow night. Joe D. McFee will be doing an incredible job, I know. So please tune in tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central for comic book news and reviews you can use. And also don't forget, Friday morning, I'll be out of town. So please join Nick Tockard on a very special episode of Nevermind the Furthermore. He's going to be awesome. You're going to have a lot of fun. So let's close out your work week the right way. So as always, folks, thank you for being here. And again, a special thanks to our guest, CARA NICOLE, who we adore. And we hope you have a great hump day, new comic book day. Go get yourself some comic books, I implore you. And thank you for being here. And as always, stay smart, stay safe, wash your hands, and never apologize for being awesome. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. Bye-bye. I'll see you Monday, I promise.
Thank you for watching Nevermind the Furthermore, a Rising Tide broadcast network production. If you enjoyed any part of this show, please give it a like or a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and consider becoming one of our Patreon supporters. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on Nevermind the Furthermore.